The next 2 years could reshape Singapore's private property market, and if you are a serious home buyer or investor, you're in for some big decisions. 5 major launches are coming up, and they will reshape not only a new benchmark pricing around the area, but also help to anchor in the price for the resale market surrounding it. Each of the 5 projects have its own strengths, risks, and hidden opportunities. So the next hour or less, I'll break it down the upcoming 5 launches briefly, namely the Zyon, Faber Residences, Skye At Holland, Zyon Grand, and Penrith. So I'll break it down into a 3-part framework. Number 1 is 3 reasons why a buyer will love this project, and 3 reasons why a buyer might hesitate in buying this project, and of course key things to check before buying into the project. So of course, at the time of filming, not all the site plan and info is released yet, so pardon me if there are some that are not fully accurate. I'll keep this fairly brief as an overview, but if there's a project they would like me to go deep into it, right, to analyze like the individual floor plan analysis, the must avoid, the can buys, so put them in the comment section down below and I will do a video about it. So if you prefer something more private that caters specifically to your scenario, of course, reach out to me privately instead via my WhatsApp and we can schedule a one-to-one session to make your property move. So of course, if you are new to this channel, my name is Daron. I've been in real estate for well over 10 years now, serving 500 over families in their property needs. I'm the founder of Property Partners, a team where we believe in working together with you in partnership, hence the name Property Partners, right, to make the right property move for you. So we hear your needs, desires, and objectives, right, and we pair them with our signature star property method in selecting a property. So ultimately, this finds the best fit for you. So let's start with the Zyon. It's a 347 unit project tucked in Upper Bukit Timah area. Of course, when I say tucked, you already know, right? When the agent say that, it's like not so near the MRT station one. So this is a 99-year-old leasehold project comprising of 1 to 4 bedroom types. So 3 reasons why a buyer may love it. So if you are, wow, this word also, a lot of agents are, I may also butcher it as well. So if you are a buyer that loves the tranquil landed enclave with parks all around, of course, you might love this project. Personally, I do know of families that are staying in Park Natura right beside, staying at Signature Park, staying at Foret at Bukit Timah, right? They are okay with it not being so near the MRT because for them is they want the big space, they want the proximity to the school, and they want a bit more quiet kind of environment. And of course, all these families, they have the budget, they drive as well. So to them, the proximity to MRT is not a concern to them. Second reason why you may like this project is that the potential low entry price. So this is the key. So out of the 5 potential new launch that is launching this year, right, this one has the lowest land price of just 841 per square feet. So with a lower land price, potentially the developer can sell it a bit cheaper, which makes this one of the cheapest new launch that is upcoming among the next 5. I mean, okay, so pointer 3, why buyers may love it. So of course, this one you may have heard like countless of times as well. The URA has a big master plan for big improvements around the Beauty World area. So the whole Beauty World, there's a lot of transformation. So of course, if you buy into that, you believe that this can add to potential upside. So this is why I feel a buyer may potentially like this area. So 3 reasons why a buyer may hesitate in getting this area. Of course, if you're a family that does not prefer to drive, you prefer something more convenient, you might hesitate in getting this project because there is no MRT walkable. It is 1.2 km to Beauty World, which means it's 10, 15, or probably even more than that. More than 15 minutes walk, which is definitely not walkable. Don't let anybody bluff you into saying that this is walkable. So if you're somebody that loves and craves conveniences, right, this might not be for you. And of course, a second reason why buyer may hesitate in getting this project is that actually it does not have the 1 km to Pei Hwa that a lot of buyers here crave. So I know of buyers, right, that buy Signature Park, buy Foret, buy other projects in this area because of the 1 km to Pei Hwa, and you are just slightly outside of it, which means to say that if you do need the address for the school, right, you don't have it. So that is something you must take note of. So probably it might appeal to families that just need the close proximity to the school but already have sort of like a guarantee for their children to enter into the school. And the third reason why I feel the buyer may hesitate, right, I feel this one specifically is more for the smaller units like the 1 bedroom, right. I feel that the 1 bedroom here doesn't really serve much of an audience because families that I know here, right, families that want to buy all the units down here, all families with like 1 to 2 children, they need bigger space or they crave for bigger space and they even have the budget to pay for bigger space. So one example is that recently I went to view one unit at Signature Park. It's a 4-bedder, right? There are in one day, right, 13 groups viewing a 4-bedder. You would think it's very, very cheap. No, it's more than $3 million, but 13 groups viewing in one day multiple people offering. We even tried to offer as well, but we were nowhere close to even what the owners were looking at. So the owners can really quite yaya papaya one, and they really did sell it like after 2 weekends. So that's how we know like there's a craving and there's a demand for bigger size unit. People are willing to pay. So a 1 bedroom down here, I do find it very, very odd because you are like round hole in a square peg, right? Neither do you cater to investors because you're not so near the MRT, and neither do you cater to families that want big space and can pay for it. So you're sort of in like an awkward position. I feel the 1 bedroom here might struggle. Of course, developers have their own way of like doing their calculations and how much they can build, how big they can build, right? But of course, if I can have it my way, I may personally do it as 2 to 5 bedroom types. I think a 5 bedroom is very, very sweet spot. Maybe quantum might be an issue for some, but like I know families that really want more bedrooms one. I think 5 bedroom or 4 bedroom should perform relatively well, but 1 bedroom, I think may struggle a little bit over here. So of course, what to check is that does a low land price, right, equate to a low selling price? It doesn't always mean so. Because a developer buy cheap doesn't mean they have to sell you cheap. They can sell you cheap, but doesn't mean they have to. So depends on how confident this developer is, what the developers know about the area or what they want to price it, right? If the developers want to price it sensitively according to their land price, then you are in for a treat because you might get one of the lowest entry price. So that is something to consider. Sometimes doesn't mean the location is not so good that it means that it's not profitable. No. If you buy into a correct entry price, then actually it's still a lot of potential for some upside. And the site plan is not released yet, but take note, if you are buying into this area, right, if you like the peace and quiet, right, so this is like a bit strange because if you get the north side facing, right, you do get the whole Bukit Batok Nature Park view, but it comes at a cost because the Bukit Batok East Avenue 6, right, that is quite a heavy traffic road and quite noisy. So if you really do want this greenery view, right, you might want to compensate by getting a slightly higher floor. So at least you compensate for having the road noise, but you get a nice greenery view. And likewise, if you are buying for the landed view, you want a bit more quieter, you buy for the landed view, right? Of course, depends on how the developers orientate the site plan. If they give you a pure landed view, right, then you might have to deal with a little bit of west sun because the southeast facing then is the pure landed view. If the developers build it that way, then you get a bit of afternoon sun coming in. So you must see whether you're okay with that. So these are the few things to check once the site plan is out. When it's out, we can share with you more and then we'll take it from there. So next up, Faber Residences. So this is a rare, agent like to use the word rare RCR launch in Clementi with about 399 units. It comprised of 1 to 4 bedroom types. So 3 reasons why buyers I think will love this project. Once again, it's similar to the Sand. You are surrounded by landed homes, right? You know, it's a peaceful landed enclave kind of a vibe. That being said, of course, you know lah, once I say that, it means it's like not so near to any MRT station. Second reasons why people may love this project is that it's a very strong developer consortium. So you have your Guaco Land, Hong Leong, these are heavyweights in the real estate market, and they've done a lot of other projects with good layouts, good pricing as well, and these are developers that, you know, really know what they're doing. So sometimes people buy into that because they have the confidence in the developer. And third reason, this is a bit salesy. It's like a rare chance to enter RCR, right, at a reasonable quantum compared to CCR prices. Because why? The developers bought it a bit cheaper, so they may potentially be able to sell you cheaper. So the same buyer who goes to the CCR, right, their budget maybe can only buy like a 2 bedroom, but coming to here, they may be able to buy a 3 bedroom compact. So if they are buyer craving for more space, they might want to give up the CCR location to get this place so that they can get a bigger size. And on top of that, also still get 1 km to Nanhua. So I feel like here is a very close competition with the Sand, right? Because both land prices are pretty low, but this one right here has 1 km to the school, which some of the families crave. So 3 reasons why a buyer may hesitate in getting this project. Same thing to the Sand, the MRT isn't nearby. So if you're a family that is craving for conveniences, right, you like the mall, like the MRT. This one right here is there's definitely no way to walk to the MRT station because even if you dare to walk, right, is you'll be very tan because why you're walking past all the landed enclave. Yeah, if you enjoy a suntan every day, then slowly stroll 20 minutes or more to the MRT station. Yeah, so not very near, or not near at all, in fact. And secondly, I would think in terms of the rentability wise, may potentially struggle a little bit because you do have a lot of other newer projects down there nearer to the MRT like Park Clementi or even the relatively new Tri-Link. So rental wise, yeah, if you're buying for like investment, right, I feel like same thing as the Sand, right, the 1 bedroom there might be in an awkward position, not so near MRT, not so near anything much, so there might struggle. But 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, I think no issues down there. Families who want the school will consider that. And of course, third reason why a buyer may hesitate is the potential growth in the area because you do have quite a fair bit of competing resale projects in that area. Of course, you have your Park Clementis, which is like the market leader in that area here, very popular project right next to the school, nearer to the MRT station. You do have the relatively new Tri-Link as well. And across the road, across the expressway, you do have Park Rivera, Twin View, Zyon Grand. All these are like the relatively newer projects, right, that can still compete with you in the resale market next time. Okay, so what to check? Of course, similar to the sand, the low land price doesn't mean the low entry price. So this one remains to be seen. Once we have more information on that, then we can decide whether this is a project worth considering. And same thing to the sand, the site plan is very, very important. Okay, why I say it's very, very important? Because they claim to sell you a riverfront kind of a lifestyle, right? Of course, to compensate for like the not so near MRT, they say waterfront. Okay, I think they use the word waterfront. But actually, north side, you are facing like a bit of industrial, bit greenery, and the water is like big longgang water lah. So you want to call that waterfront, can also. But the south facing is totally the opposite. The south facing waterfront, your waterfront is a highway, it's a AYE facing. So I'm not sure whether they will build it like Park Rivera, where they will put the multi-story car park or the car park blocking it. So that remains to be seen how the developer build it. But if you're taking the south facing, you not only don't have the waterfront, but you still have to deal with the highway noise as well. So something to take note. So next up, an exciting one, Skye at Holland. Wow, the name also sounds nice, right? District 10, you're just steps away from Holland Village MRT. You're right beside OHV, and it comprises of, wow, I don't know whether deal breaker or not. 666 units. Ooh, interesting number. Yes, 2 to 4 bedroom type. So very different from the other projects which has 1 to 4. This is only starting from 2 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms. So 3 reasons why buyers will love it. If you are a lifestyle centric kind of a person, you like the cafe, bars and restaurants all around you. But of course, I know the rental situation is a bit tough right now. I do hope government does come in and do something about it. But if you do believe or you do like a more bustling area, even though one Holland Village, the area, I don't know whether it's still bustling or not. But if you do like that kind of lifestyle-centric kind of a life, then you will appreciate this project. And secondly, there is a very strong rental demand here. So if you're buying for investment, this might be worth something to consider because there is a strong expat demand in that area, Holland Village area. So if you're buying to rent out, I think it'll be something that is worthwhile considering. And thirdly, this is like a double-edged sword. There is a school belt appeal in this area because you are actually in the middle of Henry Park, Nanyang Primary, Fairfield and ACS. It's a good and bad thing like what I say, right? Because you are close proximity to these 4 very, very popular schools, but you're actually not 1 km to any of them. It might appeal more to families that already have their children in the school. They just want to be relatively nearby. They don't want to give up the MRT stations. Like if you buy like Pine Tree Hill, Nava Grove, you have to give up the MRT, but you still want the MRT station, yet you still want to be near the school. Your children already get into the school. So these people might still consider this project. So 3 reasons why buyer may hesitate in this project. Of course, this being the CCR property, right, is the high price or the high PSF that people might be worried about. For like the same amount of money, people can buy bigger units in other developments. So that's the reason why you saw, right, recent projects like the Ori, Nava Grove, Pine Tree Hill, and even Grand Diamond, right, these 4 projects, right, suddenly, right, after the launch of CCR projects, right, these 4 projects, right, all the 4 bidders started to move. It's not by any accident. It's because buyers, right, who potentially go to the CCR project, they see, wow, 3,000 over PSF. If I bring myself back down to the RCR area, I can buy for like 24, 25, 26 PSF. I can buy bigger. Right, for my same amount of money, I can buy bigger, why not? So that's why I feel all the 4 bidders started to move after the launch of all the CCR projects. So this might put off some people in buying this project. And second reason, similar to why they love it, they might also hate it, is there's no 1 km to the primary schools because these 4 primary schools are like the super ming xiao in this area, right? Some families need the alumni plus 1 km to really guarantee the spot, right? So having no 1 km to the school might be a drawback to some of the buyers. And third reason why buyers may hesitate is that it's a leasehold project with nearby surrounding a lot of freehold competitors. So you have the whole Hill on Holland, Leiden Green area. They are still all relatively new, just TOP 1 to 2 years ago. These are all freehold projects that actually sold for a relatively reasonable price. So now you're buying a leasehold in a freehold area, right? Is that considered a safe buy? Some people might worry about that. So more traditional mindset people who insist that they must buy freehold for whatever their own personal belief may choose not to buy this one because of its leasehold status. Few things to check for this project. This one here, the site plan is already released, so we already know what the facing will be like. The stack orientation is very, very important for this one here. So if you're getting the northwest facing, right, you do get a very, very nice landed kind of an enclave view. Very, very beautiful is, you know, very aspirational kind of view. You see all the nice landed properties, right? But you have to deal with both the Bonavista Road and the Holland Road noise because these roads are quite a major road. So you might want to go slightly higher floor in order to compensate getting a nicer view, but you know, you still get a bit of road noise. Okay, but the thing with high floor, so when I say that, right, I say that with a bit of a caveat. Don't go like the super top floor as well also. Because why? Like if you're buying, assuming this is like 30 plus stories, right? What's the difference between a level 25 and 30? Actually not much difference, but you might be paying like a 50,000 premium just because you're buying 5 floors higher. Because how developers price it is that it's 10,000 jump per floor level sometimes, right? So buying a level 25 and level 30, right, the attributes is almost similar, the view is almost the same, but you needlessly just pay another 50,000 more, where in the resale market, it may not sell for $50,000 more. So high floor, but don't need super high. So the next project is in the heart of District 9, Zyon Grand, sits right beside Zyon Road. It's 2 blocks of 62 stories, 1 tower of 36 stories, service apartment. It's a mixed-use, sort of a mega big development with over 700 units. So it's a good size development, so definitely with good facilities as well. So 3 reasons why buyers will love this project. Of course, it's integrated mixed use. It's mixed use, that means it has both retail and residential combined together. And it has, number 2 reason why buyers will like is that it has prime connectivity. So it's direct link to Havelock MRT. So you are really already so close to the city center, so close to the Orchard or CBD area, right? So buyers who really don't believe in paying high prices for car, right? This is somewhere that you will really like because your connectivity is out of this world. It's really, really super convenient. And third reason, I think this is key, why buyers may love this project, right? Is potentially, I say potentially, the lowest entry price because of the lowest land price. So we don't know the exact selling price, but what we know for certainty is that for Zyon Grand, the developers bought it for 1,202 per square feet. Promenade Peak nearby bought for 1,304 per square feet, and River Green bought for 1,325 per square feet. So potentially, right, with the lowest land price, you might potentially be buying the lowest entry price compared to these other 2 projects. We don't know yet at this point of filming, because eventually when the indicative prices come up, that will determine what kind of pricing we can expect. Because if I'm a developer, right, I'm just thinking, wow, if I see River Green selling so well, so well, right, and then this is the price point that I know people can accept, should I price it higher? Developers' confidence is there because they have seen good results from both Promenade Peak and River Green. So this one is something to check when it does come out. Okay, so 3 reasons why buyers may hesitate in this area, right? Because they may feel that there's a lot of competition. You do have 2 other new launches that just launched and sold very, very well. So eventually in the resale market, you'll be joining them to sell, and you have other resale projects around the area that competes with you. So a lot of competition, that's something that buyers might be worried about. And second reason why buyer may hesitate is that you are flanked by a couple of very heavy traffic roads. So you do have your Havelock Road, Zyon Road, Kim Seng Road around the area. So does this add to a bit of a noise pollution around the area? So potentially it might put off some buyers. Why buyers may hesitate is that if you get a bad queue number, for example, similar to River Green that sold very, very well, right? If you get a very, very bad queue number, you're sort of forced or obliged to buy the higher floor units at a super premium price. Because if it's 62 stories, right, and per floor level jump is like 7 to 10,000, let's say I take an average of 10,000 now, that means what? Potentially your level 2 and your level 60 can have a price difference of like maybe 500, 600 over 1,000. That can be quite crazy, right? So imagine having to buy a level 62 and paying such a big premium, right? It may not sell for a higher premium in the resale market. So this is something why buyers, I feel, may hesitate if they get a bad queue number. Okay, so what to check, of course, is the stack, the facing, and the entry price. So there will be some stacks that will be better than the rest. So what are the premiums in the entry price? This is something that you have to really watch out for. So we will know more of this once the site plan is out, and then once we have more indicative prices, then we can do a deeper analysis on this. Of course, I said earlier before, the low entry price, does it mean they will translate to a lower selling price? That also remains to be seen. Once we have more details on that, then we can do a deeper analysis. So finally, the last one here, pretty exciting one as well, Penrith in Margaret Drive. Oh, address also sounds very nice. Once again, it's an RCR gem, right? That is surrounded by $1 million HDB flats. I've sold a couple in the area, all easily crossed for $1.6 over $1 million. I sold one for the second record price, but of course never appeared in the news because one lady sold 1.7 lah, so mine never appeared in the news. So 462 units is a good size development, 2 to 4 bedrooms, and also helmed by a reputable developer in Guaco Land and Hong Leong. So at this time of filming, of course, no site plan yet. What I have, I can share with you. So 3 reasons why a buyer may love this project is that it's a short walk to Queenstown MRT, and it's a childcare within the project. So families who want the convenience and want, like, their children to be well taken care of, you might love this because the convenience it brings. Second reason why a buyer may love it, right, is that if you want the convenience, but yet you also want like an unblocked landed view, right, you can consider this project because potentially, depending on how the developer is going to build it, right, you might potentially get some landed view. But of course, a caveat to that is that the land that it faces in front, there's a church in front, so you must try to clear the church first so that you get a more open view. So third reason why a buyer may like this area, right, is that you get to pay RCR prices, right, but you are very, very close to the Orchard area. How I know this is that because I've sold a couple of units down here in this area. One of my clients, right, when they sold the area, right, they almost cried because why? Of course, they had to sell it for different reasons. They wanted to move to a bigger place closer to the daughter's school. But the husband, I remember, was very, very upset because why? He will miss the drive to Orchard Road because right behind, right, I've personally driven as well. I was really, really shocked by this, right? If you drive along Margaret Drive Road, right, Kay Siang Road, right, you are like, it's a hidden gem road, right? It's a very, very quiet. If you don't stay there, you really don't know one, right? It's like a 5 minutes drive to Orchard, 5 to 7 minutes drive to Orchard. It's really, really super near. So this is what my buyers really, really miss after they sold their place. So of course, 3 reasons why a buyer may hesitate in buying this place. You have a lot of competing launches nearby. You have the potential price pressure from places like Commonwealth Towers, and currently there's a market leader down there, Sterling Residence, a very well received project. Your prices will also very easily be comparing with this project that is very, very popular and buyers can move in immediately. Secondly, a buyer may hesitate depending on the site plan, because depending on how they built it, right, if the developers built it, it's kind of like Margaret Drive, right, whereby both sides also got open view, right, but the open view comes with a caveat of having a west sun facing. So the way Penrith is, right, is the long narrow piece of land. I'm not sure how the developer is going to build it yet, but if they want to give more people unblocked view, right, they will do a more east-west kind of a facing, meaning to say you get to clear the school, get an unblocked open view, but it comes at the expense of having western sun. So is that something you can accept? Some people cannot, then they might hesitate buying this. And then third reason, this is more of my own reason that I feel that buyers may hesitate, is that you are surrounded by $1 million HDB flats, right? So yes, your estate is a very, very valuable one, many $1 million of HDB flats, but do people really sell there and buy back that area? That is another question, right? Okay, I have a few sample sizes, not too many. So 2 of my clients that sold in the area, right, they won't buy back condos in the area. Why? Because they're selling for a stronger purpose. They're staying in a already very good location, but they're selling because they want to move closer to the daughter's school and the upcoming children's school. So meaning to say they sell down there, even though they sell for a very good price, but they don't necessarily buy back that area. So the idea of like $1 million HDB, then they sell, they buy back there, is it really true? This remains to be seen. So of course, what to check here is that you have to really compare the entry price that you're entering. You will definitely be paying a premium compared to projects like Sterling Residences or a few MRT stations down if you want to compare. One Pearl Bank that TOP'd quite recently as well. So your prices, you must compare with them. How much premium are you paying? Is it still a fair price they're entering for a brand new project? Then secondly, you must check the site plan like what I mentioned earlier. Are they building a lot of west facing ones? How is the site plan like? Once we have more details on that, you have to really check carefully. But what I really like is that the land price here is just about 1,154 PSF, so maybe developers can still sell you at a relatively reasonable price. So that remains to be seen. Once we have the indicative prices, we can let you know more again. So I hope that gives you a brief overview. Of course, if you would like to know more information, you can put down in the comment section below. I can share more with you. Or if you prefer a more personalized one, you can feel free to reach out to my WhatsApp and I'll schedule a one-to-one consult with you. So that's it for this video. I'll see you next week.